Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Selfless taking on Rogue in the winner bracket finals, quite possibly a preview of the grand finals here in Overwatch PIT, excuse me, North America. I'm joined here today by none other than Joshi. Joshi, this is a hype match. Joshi? Hello? I don't think he can hear me. All right. Well, we do have the map getting underway. I'm going to try to make sure we get Joshi into the game ASAP, guys. But we will be getting started off here on Nepal, opening map in this best of 5 showdown as Rogue takes on Selfless. Here we go. Just going to drop Joshi a quick message.
And if you get into trouble, I'll bail you out.
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, hi, Joshi. There you are. Can you hear me? Okay. It looks like the viewers can hear me. I'm going to try just quickly recalling him.
5, 4.
Hey, Joshi, are you with me?
Hello. Yes, I hear
Okay,
you now.
so I had a great intro. I was like, this is such a hype match. Big showdown. And then you were just sitting there, like, staring at your camera, like, couldn't hear me. It's okay, though. We're underway now. It's Selfless versus Rogue. Best of 5 showdown. Winner bracket finals. Action already heating up.
I knew that was the case. Discord's done that to me before, sadly, but Emong is actually going to grab the first kill here on Nux's Winston, so it looks like Selfless are going to force Rogue to go ahead and regroup back at the front door here, and as the point becomes available, it looks like Selfless are actually going to be the first ones to pounce. I don't know what you said already, but we are here on the Village in Nepal, first map in a BO5. It is going to be very exciting for sure.
Yeah, so winner bracket finals, both teams guaranteed top 3. Winner of this will move into the top 2 as point not yet secured by either team. You can see Soon already on his signature tracer looking to contest. He jumps right in though. Michael 3D there with the punish. Able to finish him off point blank as the end. That's a big kill. AKM staying alive for now on the Pharah, but not able to fully contest the point. So it will be Selfless drawing first blood here as far as capture progress goes.
Yeah, it looks like everyone on Selfless got into the action a little bit there, and they're going to go ahead and reclaim the high ground. Dufresne going to be starting off on that Soldier. His tracking has been an absolute beauty to watch in this tournament. Very, very common for him to collect some triple kills in the course of the action. But as we have Rogue grouping up once again, AKM has Barrage ready to go. Keep in mind he has no Mercy with him, so no damage amp and no res potential. All
right, let's the Barrage go. It's a pretty good one. Gets the Emon kill with the help of Nico. Now Nico looking for the follow-up. Meanwhile, Soon also very close to a pulse bomb if required. Dufresne getting to work with the tech visor and hanging on to the point for now. Got the boost. They have not capped yet. He's going to step onto this, look to contest. They will bring down AKM. Sinatra still holding a pulse bomb of his own if need be. He lets that pulse bomb out. Will kill off the Winston. Still stalling this nicely. Sinatra playing the hero on the tracer. Not give it up for free. Now gets a bit of help. Can potentially chase Nico and stagger him. So never recapturing the point. As he'll go for that follow-up kill. Does get Nico on the way out. That is a great start for Selfless.
Yeah, already 60%. They've deflected Rogue a couple of times already. AKM even swapped off the Pharah over to Soldier to give them perhaps a better shot here. And we've got Soon and Sinatra both playing their signature tracers here, and they are going to have some excellent duels for us today. Definitely keep an eye on the kill feed for pulse bombs flying in every direction. You've got both tracers actually entering the point right now. Soundbarrier comes out here for Selfless, and they still have a couple of ults to work with to hold off Rogue.
Primal Rage at the ready for Nox as they look to retake this point. He's going to work with Nico, finds a couple of kills, still hanging onto it, jumping onto the point. They drop the sound barrier. Emon committing a lot of damage into this fight with the whole hog, but not finding too much in the way of kills. He's going to have to look to the team for that bit of backup, dropping the pulse bomb. Sinatra, no stick, but good enough for a kill anyway. Finds one with Wins down. Now able to bring down the Monkey. They barely fail to kill off Emon. Finally Soon will, but in turn he gets punished. So far, a clean sweep for Selfless. They will kill off AKM. Nobody even on the point. Rogue. All right, before you can even catch your breath, already Selfless in the driver's seat here, up 1-0 on Village. Okay, Joshi, so we didn't really get to preview the series because of the slight audio hiccup. While we have a moment, let's talk about the matchup as a whole, any key points that you have coming in. Obviously, these are two of the top teams in North America.
Well, yeah, just to recap for everybody, Selfless and Rogue here are our winners bracket finals. This is $15,000 North America only event, and if you're just joining us for the first time, you might not know that Rogue have not lost a map already in this entire tournament. So they're coming into Nepal here at 14-0 across the entire event, and Selfless are actually 14-2. So they're incredibly closely matched here, and it's really anyone's game. But a best of 5 series should give us a great opportunity to have these guys butt heads for our entertainment and see see who really is #1 in North America right now.
Yeah, collectively 28-2, or about a 93% win rate on their maps. Almost flawless between the two of them. And flawless in terms of series victory. So that will change today. Selfless, the team that dropped some maps earlier, but so far looking good. Certainly they are comfortable on these control point maps where Sinatra can work his magic. He gets an early solo kill on Unko. That's a big grab, taking the Zen out of the equation. Now able to back away from AKM, is being pressured heavily, but with that advantage, looks like Selfless again in good shape. Defran also finding a kill. Now it's a hack taking out wins. A clear win for Selfless to get us underway on our second stage of the ball.
Yeah, I like how they played that one cautiously. Normally you'll see Reinhardt's kind of bashing into each other right off the bat there, and Roadhog's trying to find hook kills right away, but it was a little bit of a slower fight to develop, but Selfless, they just stayed back as far as they could, and once they were able to find a pick or two, they kind of surged forward, and it worked out for him. Sinatra on the Tracer, trying to stop Soon from doing whatever he wants to do. Basically, he's on Tracer patrol, it seems, so far, and it's going to be Rogue actually going past the Reinhardt. Kresnik is off on his own there and just gets surrounded. That was a bit awkward, but you got a nano-boosted Soldier. Defran taking some free shots out on whatever's available, but Rogue doing a good job hiding behind line of sight there. So Selfless up to 30% now, but Rogue's still alive and trying to take it back.
Meanwhile, Nico sounding the horn. He wants to go in while that nano boost is down. Finds the Defran kill with 20 HP. He goes deeper. He gets 2. He dashes out, make it a triple, and he survives until the very end. Finally, Kresnik gonna bring him down. Not often do you see a Genji say, I'm down to 20 HP, let me go deeper, and manage to make it work. But he finds 2 kills so low, and with that, finally, Rogue's able to start getting some percentage here. Their first cap of the map.
Yeah, they've got a couple of ults to work with as well. The tactical visor from AKM, you can see Soldier posted all the way in the back there, trying to cover his Zenyatta as well, but it's also a great position to let loose with that ultimate. So Selfless going to have to try and deal with that, and AKM won't let Sinatra close.
That was a thing of beauty. Just a direct hit on the Helix Rocket with the Discord Orb. Insta-killing a full HP Tracer. Big pick off there. Now they're going to look to contest this. Unko dropping the Transcendence, gets onto the point, keeps the whole team in fighting shape. They'll take down Imam, and Sinatra just calls for the retreat. Defran also looking to rejoin the team. So 2 pretty big defensive offensive ultimates will be available for this next fight, but not going to be easy. They walk into a sound barrier, and along with that, largely all ultimates either online or about to be ready for Rogue.
If they can somehow get Defran into a great position to use that tactical visor, thing will be okay. Kresnik's also pretty close to an Earth Shatter and might be able to generate it, but here we go. It's flying. Sound Barrier out for Rogue. Dragon Blade out. Primal Rage is out. Pulse Bomb is out. Everything getting committed here. And Nico on that Genji, just finding 3 kills in rapid succession, means they blow everything just to make sure they get another 15-20% piled on. Selfless are now in do or die territory, and Rogue are setting up for a bit of an ambush. I think we saw this in their last match as well. It kind of backfired on them that time, but here's Selfless trying to make their last chance here.
Yeah, it was a different map if I recall correctly, but similar style and level of aggression so far, working out okay, but Defran looking to change that with the Tac Visor, going to find 2, 3, make it, not quite 4. In fact, might end up going down to the Winston, but the team helps out, so they fully wipe the floor with Rogue. This point is Selfless territory, they say. But with 96% on the board, Rogue definitely still a shot here to take the second stage and really want to. Don't want to go down 0-2 to Selfless on a control point map. That is for damn sure.
Yeah, it was actually the Village last time that they did that, and it backfired similarly, where they ambushed, but then they got met by 3 or 4 ultimates and just got wiped. So Selfless actually just repeating history there against Rogue's ambush tactic. Maybe it's time to rethink that one, but AKM does have the tactical visor this time. You've got Emong actually pushing very far forward with the help of his friendly Zarya bubble, but he takes a Discord Orb, has to back off. They did find the kill on Lucio, though, and that should be enough to give them a nice start. Kresnik is going to go down. Nano Boost is used on Emong for the whole hog ultimate, but still kills being found here for Rogue.
Well, AKM gets something. Is he going to have to follow up? Looks like he will. They bring down Michael 3D. Crucial source of healing taken out of the picture. And now committing the Transcendence. They dive onto the point. If they win a clean fight here, it should be their map with the percentage they've already managed to rack up. And they're in control, at least for now. Moving on to the Rhine. Kresnik isolated and starting to get carved up from behind. They pounce on him. They will bring the Rhine down. Just too many little pokes from different directions. Can't deal with the mosquitoes. Nip at his heel. Soon, able to follow this up, gets 2 more. And with that, looks like probably going to a map 3, tied 1-1, though not entirely over yet. Defran trying to get on the point, but they're walking 1 by 1 into a Discord Orb, so it really just feels like a matter of time.
It is just kind of a meat grinder here as each individual player tries to extend overtime. That's really all they can do. You can't blame them for trying, but they are going to get swatted down relatively easily. Defran and Dak there both at the end just getting killed off, but we do have an even series now, 1-1, and we're moving to the Shrine level next. So the compositions that we've seen out of both teams, nothing too surprising just yet. Unco does actually really like his Zenyatta, so he probably won't move over to Ana until Selfless make his life difficult. That's what Zen mains tend to do. If they can't defend themselves, then they start using that sleep guard. But on the other side, Selfless, on that last point, I'm not really sure what major issues that could have fixed there. They did make a couple of switches throughout, but it seemed like they played just fine. It was just a matter of timing and ultimates for that one.
Yeah, I would agree. They are going to mix it up as we head outdoors, though. So they are running for now the triple tank. The Fran, lone DPS. They have that Sinatra Zarya as the potential X Factor. Great to kill an ally that's being dove, and obviously a good way to deal with the Discord Orb in the midst of a hectic engagement. Iman drawing first blood. He'll take out soon. One of the many weapons at Rogue's disposal, but I'd say probably the one that's impressed me the most personally. AKM, Nico obviously have been fantastic at different points. Even Nox has put up big numbers, but taking Soon out early, that's going to help. As I say that, he's going to rejoin the fight. Point not captured just yet. He does turn purple, though. He's got to dash his way through. Recalls on it, but Sinatra killing off wins. During this time, they're trying to focus these discorded heroes down. Will at last get the Ana, but they commit so much for it. And now, one by one, they fall. Just not able to get back into the fight and find any kills. And all these tanks against the Discord Orb proving hard to take down.
That's true. With all the barriers, Zarya can actually just bubble the Discord Orb off of somebody. Kresnik's going to have his shield up most of the time to try and keep himself away from it. But Unco, at any time he could switch on over to Ana and try something different. But so far, it's just Selfless gathering up 20%. That kill on AKM is going to stagger Rogue very badly here, though. And there's no way they're going to try to engage without him.
Yeah, Soon trying to just farm up a pulse bomb during this time for the ensuing engagement. And they're going to need that quick pick because likely they walk into a sound barrier and potentially into an Ana boost. So finding these kills, not only are they tanky to begin with, but these heroes are going to have some extra padding, so to speak, as they jump onto the point. Soon closing in on the pulse bomb. Nico with the blade, ready to go. And they do try to combo on that Discord Orb, gets the stick on... Or actually, not quite the stick. It looked like it was going to connect on Iman. Didn't, though. Soon, unable to find that kill. Nico popped the blade, went down early. They have a Transcendence, but it's not really a good time to pop it as they've already lost a few. AKM to drop as well. They're going to have to reset here. Not capturing the point again. Looking like our first map. Eventually, Unco falls, but quite late. Bit of a stagger for Rogue.
So far for these whole hog ultimates, Emong has been doing his best Pharah impression, basically pushing out a bunch of damage, but just becoming a pincushion essentially. So whenever he starts the ultimate, you can be sure that he's going to get a lot of damage out, but he generally does die during it. So if Sinatra were there to bubble him perhaps a little bit quicker, he would have been able to stay alive, but it doesn't really matter in the end. 80% here for Selfless, and Rogue are in their last opportunity. Soon's going to throw out a pulse bomb, doesn't find anyone, but Emong is pretty low on health. There's Transcendence, Graviton Surge coming out here from Selfless both, and Nano Boost being committed. So if they can use everything and win the fight here, it's still a good idea. Shrine is about to go their way as Kresnik finds 2 kills for himself. There's a sound barrier out now for Rogue, but it only affects 2 players. Nico not close enough to receive it, and Wins is just going to get smacked in the face there. Kresnik dropping the Earth Shatter to make sure they win this fight.
The DPS a bit slow to get back to the point, so Nox has to stall, but Primal Rage over. He ends up going down, got a decent boot, but AKM can't even sniff the point, really. He's going to get gunned down from distance. Too much beef, really, it feels like. And just not finding those early snowball kills. When you have that Zen dive comp against this many tanks, if you don't get that early pick, it's tough to play from a disadvantage with all the shields, the healing, and heroes who are unlikely to get one shot.
It's interesting, though, that Rogue on the village and the shrine just now, they lost the first player in the fight and still got back in time to contest when the point was opened up. So it looks like they had at least a nice backup plan. Once they lost Soon right away, they just backed out and stayed alive to be able to continue to contest. But Selfless were ready on the point with that high ground advantage as well. So they're able to just swat down any incoming interceptors. That's kind of how it feels that Rogue are running things with Nico, Soon, and AKM just kind of going whichever direction they want, and Selfless just trying to deal with one aggressor at a time. As long as they choose their targets wisely and are able to help out their own supports, I think they can get it done here against Rogue. But Sanctum is the point that Rogue won last time. They seem to have a pretty good handle on it here, so I'm looking at Emong's Roadhog specifically to try and get an early pick again.
With this lineup, the Fran definitely the one you'd like to get first, if possible, maybe one of the healers. He's going to chase onto Soon. Nemo crouching around the corner as a Winston. He doesn't look like a sneaky fella, but Nox, he sure is. Gets in with the pounce, finds the Defran kill. Great bait setup. Really nice kind of prepared play from Rogue. Will net them the initial kill in Defran. Should be starting things off on Rogue control. Indeed, puts in on a pulse bomb here. Soon is looking for more.
Well, at this point, Rogue are actually the first to clean it again. Sanctum seems to be their level for sure, but Emong is going to get surrounded here soon. Is going to back out when he senses the Roadhog blast is coming, but the Pulse Bomb is going to go out on Kresnik's shield, and the follow-up, it is there. Reinhardt folds over, and Selfless are going to be on the back foot for sure. Rogue already pressing forward here with Genji and Winston. Will they find any additional kills? Yes, Emong goes down, and Selfless need to get out of here before these staggers get worse.
Yeah, they try to retreat, but even in doing so, they get split in two, and now punished on the outskirts. DeFran trying to assist from afar, but the hack gets booped off the map. That is going to set up Rogue as they continue the pressure. Looking for the Kresnik. Additional stagger is on the menu. He gets discorded, bursts down, even through the shield, and now probably a solid like 20% claim just off of those stagger kills. And look at this, Joshy. They've got the Hextuple ultimate special ready to go.
Yeah, the more the merrier on the side of Rogue here, but it's all about that coordination and making sure you don't waste anything. We got Selfless with a bulk of ults as well. Graviton Surge and Sound Barrier both coming out quickly here on both sides. Sounds like the Tactical Visor from AKM has not been used yet, but DeFran is going to start with his. Nox and Nico both committing their ultimates. AKM finally hits Q as well, and that's going to be mass kills here for Rogue. Nico and AKM both survive with less than 50 health over the course of that fight, but they do survive, and Rogue will hang on up to about 85-90% before Selfless get back here, so this might be their last attempt in total on Sanctum.
Yeah, they just do not seem to be doing well in Sanctum, but I like double-checked Rogue's lineup. I was like, do they have a Zarya? Because all of a sudden there's just like 4 Selfless heroes just piled up on top of each other's heads in a corner. Just easy cleave action for Nico to find those kills. So now, gonna look to close out this map and force it to a deciding stage 5. Nico, low but not dead just yet. Hanging onto the point. Wins will drop though. They're down a healer, they're down a tank. Not the best position as they move forward. Looking to retake Selfless. Can they grab it back? They have an Earth Shatter soon. Has to be cautious about that. But really just trying to be the thorn in the side of this fight. He will get the kill. That's a big one. Brings him down. Emon rushing to get back with the Tracer swap. Not sure if he's going to make it in time. Still stalling. They will bring down soon. Michael 3D pops off, finds a double. Crucial picks for him. And now it's Rogue who are coming in a bit of a trickle fashion. They will be resetting, but they've got about 98% to bring it back.
Yeah, it was actually a really nice job by Rogue to make it last as long as they did before the flip. I think soon on the Tracer and Nico on the Genji, we're both doing a great job at self-preservation and just avoiding Selfless as much as possible. And Selfless, they were actually trying to address people still coming on to the point as well. So it was a little bit tough, but finally they do get some points on the board here, 20% and rising. Kresnik has been kind of a focus point here for Rogue recently. They've got the composition to basically spin him around and try to get that kill quickly, and soon every time he has a pulse bomb just looks for him, so could be kind of a point to think about here for Selfless if it's not working out. But Rogue are going to push on, and Selfless are in the defensive position now.
Yeah, soon looking for that pulse bomb special, not going to find it. Instead it's DeFran who gets to work. We've certainly seen this movie before. DeFran with the nano visor racking up the frags, even wasting quite a bit of time. Now the good news for Rogue, only dropped a pulse bomb, so else they have 5 ults ready for the next coming fight. Let's see if they can take it back. They are walking into a grab.
Yeah, Graviton Surge could be a nice little stopgap for them. They could actually just win a fight only with that if it hits enough targets that can't jump out of it, like Tracer or Genji being able to recall or dash out of it. So they are going to stand firmly on the point here. Kresnik's got his shield up. He's not really protecting anyone at the moment, but here come the ultimates. You got Sound Barrier out, Dragon Blade and Transcendence both committed by Rogue. Pulse Bomb goes into the Graviton Surge though, and the Big Bang comes up big with Nico and Wins both taking down. Unko's going to fall as well, and Selfless may be able to actually wrap things up here if they can deflect Rogue a single more time.
Time starting to work against them. They used quite a few ults, end up still dropping the fight. Didn't even get close to recapturing. So now one more shot. They might have to deal with the DeFran visor, but that's really it. Otherwise, no ults available for Selfless as they look to hold, but they can't afford to give this point up because at 99%, they will not have a chance to retake, barring a crazy stagger. In goes Nox. Early, though, he's quite low. He's going to Primal Rage, though. He's wasted a lot of the time. This frees up AKM in the rear. A shooting gallery for him, but well, Gallery doesn't have anything to shoot at, so while he doesn't die, he doesn't get any kills either. But in overtime, Rogue able to get back on the point, and it looks like they will end up recapturing, taking it, and forcing this one the distance already to a stage 5. And this is only map 1 of a best of 5 showdown.
Yeah, both sides actually getting 99 zeros there. Rogue started out 99 to 0. Selfless held it until 99%, but the fact is they did have to use everything with the Nanovisor combo to get up to that point. So when Rogue came back in, Winston, Nox actually had a great play. All he had to do was jump deep into enemy territory there, bait them to start chasing him, pop that Primal Rage at the perfect time. If he had been crumpled over, I think Selfless probably would have won the fight and the map, but Nox hit Primal Rage at the perfect time and just got that fight underway in a great shape. Nico just dove in on the healers after Winston started going nuts in the back line. So very good execution for Rogue to bring it to this 5th and final stage. We're back to the village now, where Selfless did win the first time through. AKM is going to be playing the Pharah, which he did last time, and obviously they were unsuccessful. So I'm curious to see the switch and if it's going to work out this time, or if they're going to be able to keep their thumb down on him.
Generally on this stage, on Village, when we've seen the Pharah, teams tend to go main instead, but of course they didn't know it was coming. Seems to work out okay, though, for Selfless as they get the opening pick off, courtesy of Sinatra. Answering back, though, is Rogue, finding 2 of their own and using that Discord Orb well as they coordinate and dive heroes. It's really going to be all up to Sinatra now. With the whole team having fallen, they'll have to reset. Looks like they could stagger him potentially if he's not careful. Diving away, still trying to work on Nico, but Nico has an unfair advantage. Healing Orb from the Zen will ensure he wins the duel.
That's right, it's a 2v1 anytime you see that orb on his head, so just keep that in mind, Tracers of the World. So we got everyone on Selfless regrouping. They're going to be headed maybe through mid, maybe through main. They do still have a mass of tanks here with D.Va and Reinhardt. They did switch it up just a little bit to have the double DPS, but Barrage is going to come in from AKM. He's going to get put to sleep right away and does not find any kills. 3 actually going to Selfless instead. Nico's going to try and keep himself alive, but we've got Wins all the way out of position here. Nox knows that he needs to run or die at this point, but he's going to try and milk the percentage as much as he can. 31% is all Rogue gets before Selfless flips it back, and they are battling back now. This is, you know, the last round of this first map. They want to get started on a good note.
Yeah, AKM very ambitious with that Rocket Barrage, knowing there's a D.Va who's hardly used their defense matrix in the mix. Perhaps just hoping to catch them off guard, find that opening pick, but also, I think as soon as he sees the D.Va, just wants to swap anyway, already over onto the Soldier, so blows the Barrage, doesn't pay off. Well, speaking of Soldiers, welcome back to Fran. He'll find 1, Unko, make it 2, make it 3, and looking for the 4th, just a quick rifle butt will finish that last one. Sinatra collecting the kill, and still firmly the point in Selfless controls. They pull into the lead here down the stretch on Nepal.
Yeah, Dufresne's Nanovisor once again cleaning up, and there was nowhere to run for Rogue this time as the rest of the team on Selfless were all healthy and able to intercept any fleeing players. So Sinatra Pulse Bomb getting another hot start here. Nox being taken out is a huge tool for Rogue as their only tank. So these squishy DPS are not even going to risk going in alone.
And Nico holding the Dragon Blade now. Does have a Transcendence to pair with this. Not a whole lot of other damage as far as ultimates go to follow up, but plenty of zoning tool in the form of Nox. So they'll jump in now, but he walks into a whole lot of defensive capabilities into the Rhine, swinging his hammer into the sound barrier. He gets nothing for that. Dufresne already at 70%, well on his way back towards that visor again, and they have yet to capture the point. Rogue starting to be in a real dire straits here on Nepal, but Dufresne is low. If they could finish him off, that might be enough to turn things around. Wins has a sound barrier of his own, looking to outlast Selfless in the extended duel, and it looks like getting the Dufresne kill, demeching Iman, and then slaying him. They will finally recap, but damage already done, up to 83% here for Selfless.
Selfless really want to recapture this quickly if they can. Emong is actually going to swap over to Roadhog now after the D.Va suit gets popped and he dies there. He decides he's looking for some instant kills instead, maybe able to actually shut down Tactical Visor if he's in the neighborhood of Soldier when this fight goes down. But they really want to win this quickly, so they're not in the same position they were on Sanctum just now, having to battle back in a one-and-done opportunity. But we've got the ults flying out now. Dufresne's going to use his Tactical Visor, but gets shut down by AKM's Visor immediately. AKM finds 3 with his. Nico helping out there as well, but is all Rogue on this one, and Selfless are going to give it up at 90-something%. It's just a matter of time now, but Selfless, they do have some ults to work with. I think this time around, if they can make use of the Sinatra Pulse Bomb, they may be able to get up to a nano boost soon enough, but yeah, Rogue taking control once again, making life difficult for Selfless.
Now that was an unfortunate fight for Selfless, mainly because Dufresne dropped his tac visor, but AKM was just ready on the flank, not holding the high ground. Very aggressive maneuver in from the rear, paid off beautifully. So now, like you said, it really is on Sinatra, and as he has so often on Nepal, he delivers again, finds that first kill. He's going to commit for Unko. He does manage to clip him, gets out, 70 HP, now on to win, snowballing his way forward, dropping the pulse bomb, but it only hits a corpse. Winston body parts spraying everywhere. That's no way to treat your resident scientist, as he will end up going down, and it will be Selfless taking the first map off of Rogue that we've seen in a while. They have not dropped too many in this tournament. And in fact, as you mentioned, 14-0, so this is their first map loss.
All right, Rogue, they're going to have to figure out what went wrong on that one. Obviously, I think the execution looked pretty clean most of the time. It's a matter of Sinatra popping off, really, in that last fight. He got 3 final blows in that last skirmish, so Selfless coming out on top of the 1-0 lead. I don't know if everyone predicted this, but we do still have an extended map pool this time because we're in a best-of-5 series. So there's 2 more control maps we could be going to, Lijiang Tower or Ilios, and obviously lots of different payload selections that could come flying out here next. But awesome start on control map. I think Rogue are going to have to think twice about taking it to another one after a loss like that.
And with that, I guess we can talk a little bit more about the map options, Joshi. Do you know offhand what they have to choose from fully here? You mentioned probably stay away from a control point map, but anything in particular that you do like a lot for Rogue?
Well, really, I think anything can benefit them with Nico and AKM. It's just a matter, and soon, obviously, it's just a matter of how good the flanks are. And payload maps and control maps, obviously, a little bit different. When Selfless are in control of a point, they can kind of watch all the sides for incoming attackers and play that 3 tank plus soldier comp. But in payloads, your flankers are going to come behind you constantly just to try and keep you from defending a payload, for example. So it can be a little bit different. Execution could be a little bit easier for these assassins, Soon and Nico, for example. But looks like Dorado is going to be the map choice here. Full payload maps are pretty exciting. No chances of draws or anything like that. So I'm excited at least to see what happens here. But from what we've seen so far, really, I think the soldiers have been kind of dictating the story here. Those tactical visors every time really dictating who won the games.
Yeah, especially if Selfless runs the triple tank, where Defran with the nano visor has a lot of shields in general to work with, a lot of frontliners, and is really their main DPS in most of those extended open fights. So as I think a lot of people have spoken about, we've heard it from a lot of pundits, that Defran is really, Sinatra might have gotten a lot of the hype initially, but Defran has been that stable rock for the team. This to me was a map where Defran just did what Defran always does, play a very consistent and low mistake, high impact soldier, but Tracer play, you can't always expect to just dominate your opponents, but that's exactly what Sinatra did. So at least for me, he was the initial X factor. But we have seen Selfless also not afraid to mix up with composition. Only real change-up we saw on that map for Rogue was AKM toying a bit with the Pharah. But aside from that, they've kind of stuck to their dive comp so far.
Yeah, dive are what they excel at. When you've got the incredibly individually talented players, Soon and Nico, you kind of just let them do what they want, and that's actually a huge benefit of running the Zenyatta as often as they do, is the Harmony Orb just kind of accentuates their skills by allowing them to stay alive even longer. So we're seeing Wins not playing Lucio here. Keep in mind, everyone, that we did have a balance patch this week where Lucio has changed drastically, so not a ton of times for these teams to adapt to it. Dak has been a lifetime Lucio fan, actually all the way back from closed beta. He was one of the first people to gain a reputation for some crazy wall riding stunt action, and now since Lucio gets speed boosts and all these other crazy benefits from wall riding, I think he's actually really happy with it. But we'll see, obviously, as the games unfold here, is it going to give him a competitive advantage or not? Wins is going to be opting for that Zenyatta plus Ana combo, which Zenyatta can be tough to keep alive sometimes.
Yeah, that's in the past, this is obviously just a very heavy damage support duo with the Discord Orb, the Ana biotic grenade, and Zen, who can hit quite hard, but is a bit vulnerable to the flanks. And generally the Lucio is that slightly harder to take down support who doesn't risk getting punished, I would say. So we'll see how the Zen works out, but on defense, Wins will have the high ground. Not the easiest hero to dive, especially for this composition, which Selfless really no vertical movement at all, aside from the Lucio, who's not going to be chasing Zen on his own. So might not be too easy to punish him initially. Let's see how it pans out.
All right, we've got some action up on the high ground already. Rogue taking a very, not super forward position, I guess. They're not being super aggressive with it like we've seen Selfless in the past, but they are close enough to the cart to contest it a little bit before just sending it through the choke point. So 30 seconds already bled off. They're not being super passive. Nox actually hasn't even gotten to the mix yet at all because he doesn't want to risk getting blown up. So he's still choosing his moment here as Winston.
Yeah, still trying to find some openings. Sinatra's going for the flank. He would like that Wins kill. Won't be easy though. AKM is there looking to protect the Zen, so he gets the support he needs, but that does mean Soon's left a bit unprotected. He ends up going down. Now Nico standing on the cart, contesting as the Genji. They do have Nox available for this. They get the dash kill, comboing it with the Helix Rockets. They bring 2, make it 3 down, and now they can go for the stagger. Additional pickoffs likely for Rogue. Kresnik will find Nox. In turn, Sinatra striking back, but a Tracer on herself, not going to be enough to move that payload. So she'll have to try to reset, and soon we'll be looking to punish and stagger him, and successful in doing so.
Yeah, some help from AKM. The Helix Rocket getting a bit of damage in there. That's really rough, unfortunately, because the rest of Selfless just respawned and got back here. Kresnik is playing the Reinhardt, but again, it seems to be the same situation where these flankers can just spin him around, and it can be tough for him to actually push out any damage or protect any damage, you know? So as he continues to push the cart through the choke point, Rogue are going to have to shift a little bit and probably fall back here toward the fountain. You've got Sinatra on their back line, throwing the pulse bomb out, catches Anna, which is a nice little pickup, but Defran's nano boost needs to find some more here, or Selfless could still get shut down.
Well, Defran has an unfair advantage with the nano boost, as you mentioned. Is going to be able to win the soldier aimbot duel quite easily. Needs a little more, though. They've got 2 minutes. There's still quite a bit of time to go. Here comes the stall as Nox will Primal Rage. Might need to leap away. Doesn't want to get picked off at the end of this. Nico rushing to get back. Has the blade available. But payload starting to move forward now and closing in on the checkpoint. We'll probably see one more engage from Rogue. And should they hold here, could put a time really crunch on Selfless's doorstep to try and deal with soon. We'll start things off. Gets the pulse bomb kill. Now Nico getting to work with the blade. Not going to find all that much, though. Has to deflect. Ends up going down. So now we look to see if Soon can get a kill. No, Sinatra is there a bit too soon. Brings him down right as he gets in pulse bomb range. Sinatra looking for Unko now on the cart. Last man trying to stall. And with that, they will hit the first checkpoint.
Oh, those spawns really benefited Selfless on that last fight as some players returned to the action who died a little bit earlier on. You can see Rogue actually had some people respawn, but had to turn around once things were getting a little hairy there. So good play, actually. Emong and Kresnik combined, just being able to provide that Rhine shield for the whole hog from Emong, pushed out a lot of damage. They found a kill relatively quickly while Rogue were already staggered on numbers. So another pulse pop coming out here from Sinatra, not going to find anything, but does ward away the Rogue defenders. And they have the high ground right now, but another tactical visor from Defran with that nano boost, looking for some kills. AKM goes down immediately, and that is going to stunt Rogue's damage quite a bit. Soon and Nico both down, means no DPS players left standing, and Nox is going to try to be a bit annoying, stall that cart while he can, but he's going to respawn now with his damage dealers. Sinatra, actually on the Rogue, has a lot of time to push forward and try to prevent them from getting good footing.
You know, sometimes when I watch Defran, like, you know, there are unfortunately people who do occasionally cheat in Overwatch, but I just look at this guy and I'm like, he's not aimbotting, he's not walking, he's just doubling his ult charge compared to everyone else. He always has attack visor up, already at 40%. He's used 2 nano visors this game, and he's almost halfway to a third. This guy is just ridiculous on the soldier. Impressive stuff from him. As we will see Tahak dropping the sound barrier, Selfless looking to push forward and can take a pretty fast time on the second point, but Soon is contesting on the card for now. They find a few kills. Now they can kill off Kresnik. Take their time with it if they'd like. There's really no way Selfless are going to continue this push cleanly any further. And they will be able to hold here, force the offense back and reset, and they do so with a lot of ults ready for the upcoming fight. So Rogue in pretty good position to take this next fight. Big ult advantage.
Yeah, and that was a pretty rough fight for Selfless also. Just the fact that they died so slowly apart from each other means they're still staggered with Anna kind of bouncing back into the action. Now Dak is going to go back and ferry her back to the front line, but we've got the tanks on the right side. They don't really have any ults, no CC to work with, and Nico's going to find the first kill on Defran as before the fight even begins. Pulse Bomb goes flying out, does kill AKM, so it's a 5v5 unfolding here. Pulse Bomb from Soon does not kill the Reinhardt, but it does take Kresnik rather low. Emong tries to stay alive, but falls under the pressure. Now Kresnik's going to take the bulk of the damage, and he falls as well. So Selfless get bounced away once again, and there's still 5 ults ready for Rogue.
Oh, that's real scary. You've got a minute and a half to go. Pretty low likelihood you take this fight. Now, the X factor is if Defran just gets the jump with that nanovisor. Once you start snowballing, maybe you kill off the Zen before he's able to transcend, then perhaps the fight can go differently. But if everybody on Rogue gets their ults off at the right time, it's a very difficult fight. And then Selfless, just one push left likely before potentially getting stalled here. So they'll be looking for that initial pick. Let's see if they can find it. Assuming high ground again, but across the way, at the opposite high ground, is Rogue. And here comes the nano boost, but it's into the Transcendence. He actually goes down first. AKM wins the duel with the help of the Zenol. And now, pushing forward into the upper apartments, they'll get additional kills. Time a real issue now.
Good job, Rogue. I mean, they only used the ults that they had to there. Transcendence to block the incoming Nano Visor, and Nano plus Visor to deal with everything else. So they didn't even have to really take a fight. It was just kind of like rock, paper, scissors right at the beginning of the fight to see who would win. But as Rogue are going to maintain their high ground advantage, Selfless suddenly only have 30 seconds to work with. Whole Hog is not going to be too effective from low ground to the high ground, so he's actually working his way into the bank to try and meet them up there. We'll see how this goes.
All right, going for the wraparound play while Sinatraa stands on the payload, tries to draw someone towards it, has to recall rather early in the fight, and now needs to dip away back towards safety. They're still looking for the pickoff. Don't find anything yet. They're going to have to commit soon. 10 seconds to go. Can Sinatraa find a pulse bomb kill? Can Iman get a hook? They need one of these opening entry frags to have a good shot in this upcoming fight. So far, nothing doing. AKM is going to find one first. Missing on the hook, Sinatraa is able to dodge that, but soon answering back, getting onto the card. He dropped his pulse bomb. He's going to take down Iman right as he starts the whole hog. Still waiting for Sinatraa to show up in this fight. Lobs in a pulse bomb. Unfortunately, not going to connect. So now, DeFran getting pounded by the monkey on the far side of the fight, tries to get back to the cart, but the whole team falls around him while he's busy doing that. AKM lands 2-3 kills with his own tag visor. Then the blade gets whipped out for good measure, and just a very slow and disorganized attempt to take the cart on that last push ends up falling flat.
Rogue made sure that 1 or 2 ults would get the job done every time, and that management definitely showed its value kind of on the second stretch, where every single time Selfless bounced in, they used 1 or 2 ults right away to make sure they could put a clamp down on anything coming in, and that kind of obviously shut them down time and time again. So Selfless not making any switches generally, just kind of stayed on the same composition, moved around a couple of different attack angles to try it out, but I think with the Roadhog and the Reinhardt against the dive comp of Rogue, they were just never able to get out the damage. I think they just took too much from ranged sources, and obviously mobility is your friend when you get Genji and Tracer running all over you, but Reinhardt and Roadhog, they have to take the stairs, they have to take the long way around, etc. So every time it seemed like they just got a slow start. They couldn't find those entry frags you were talking about, and AKM did a really good job just being on DeFran duty that time. Whenever he thought a flanking soldier might show up, he was looking around constantly to make sure that they didn't get jumped. So really good for Rogue on the defense. That's not to say Selfless can't actually match that performance here, and their composition usually favors heavy tanks. If Emon can get some hook kills onto Genji here or Tracer there, they could easily defend just as well. So I'm excited to see this Rogue attack now.
Yeah, and running that lineup that doesn't have the best vertical movement, definitely easier on the defense where you can start on high ground. But Rogue, looking to take over high ground early, will be running AKM on the Pharah, so going back to what they tried on Nepal a few times. Again, just the dive comp for them. They have not really shifted away from it at all so far this tournament, or specifically in this match yet. Let's see if Selfless can give them a reason to. They will be holding up on the rooftops, at least initially, and I am interested to see how effective they are with this Discord Orb. Early on, Soon just running down main is forced to recall quite early in the fight.
Wow.
Meanwhile, AKM gets the opening kill into Hack, but he immediately gets answered back, though Soon into the mix, finding one in his own, and Sinatraa now trying to answer back.
The card itself has barely moved. Since Rogue took such an aggressive push attack to the high ground, they haven't moved the cart very much. Oh, Winston Bubble saves Soon's life. That was perfectly placed by Nox to disallow Roadhog from getting that kill on Tracer. That was actually really insane. I play a lot of Winston myself. That's tough to do. We've got Nico deflecting some damage here from the incoming Tracer, so Selfless unable to even get back to the cart very easily here. Once they get grouped up, they should have a bit easier time here as Emon switches over from the Roadhog to the Diva. I guess he figures that's a good thing to try and shut down any incoming Pharah rockets and pulse bombs potentially, but as they return to the cart, Rogue actually find the first kills again with Soon and AKM getting on the board.
Yeah, the pulse bomb connection from Soon takes out the enemy Ryan. That removes a beefy and crucial frontliner. Michael 3D getting gunned down here by Soon. Hasn't quite finished him off. Needs a little more help to secure this kill. Still alive, this Anna. Kill that woman already. And now with the Discord Orb follow-up, they finally will be able to. They continue to push forward. Doesn't look like a whole lot of contesting. Likely to happen is the pistol whip on Kresnik combined with the Lucio. They'll get that kill as well. They've got 5 minutes, and they don't have to push the payload all that far. Probably 1, maybe 2 on fights, Joshy, and that will be all she wrote for Selfless on this map.
This is because they're not dealing with those individual killers on these other sides. Soon is actually in their backline right now, preventing them from even getting the high ground defense that they want to. because he showed up at the perfect time to split the tanks from Ana, and they're going to get the kill on Sinatra, who swapped over to McCree at some point immediately. So Rogue have, again, a lot of distance to kind of free push here. Selfless have barely any ultimates. They're probably going to try and get Fran up to 100% as quickly as they can before using the Nano Boost. So Rogue just cruising through here at a point where they actually held for quite a while, soon finding a pulse bomb kill again on Michael 3D.
Rogue not making it easy right now as this cart continues to move. The scoreboard just lighting up in blue. Not the color that you're hoping for if you're a Selfless fan. Dahak going to drop as well. Transcendence committed, but they still have a Primal Rage for zoning purposes, and I don't even know if they get back to the payload at this point. Defran's going to hoof it, try to get there in time. He will bypass Iman, but running in the Primal Rage, not even needed. They won't even touch the payload with 4 minutes clear still to go. Rogue cruise and tie it up 1-1 in this best of 5.
Man, that was pretty brutal on the defensive side for Selfless. That's kind of exactly what Rogue are looking to do. I think Selfless probably want to keep these full payload maps away from them in the map selections, but since they did a good job on Nepal, maybe Lijiang Tower or Ilios will be our next destination. We're going to find out in a few moments, but AKM is going to get play the match honors here for Soldier, and it was right at the beginning of Selfless's attack. Interesting.
So a back and forth brawl so far. Definitely two evenly matched teams, at least it appears, in terms of individual skill. And I guess for me, I am curious to see if Selfless stay away from the payload maps as you suggested. And, you know, when they are forced to play them next time, do they mix it up with the composition? Because the lineups they're running just at least seem to struggle on that particular map against the dive. Like, even if they win that initial engagement, it's just the follow-up fights for Rogue just overwhelm them. And as soon as you trade 1-for-1, suddenly those mobile heroes with more ways to disengage and re-engage become a real problem in the ensuing, you know, follow-up round of engagement.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that opening volley that Rogue sent out at the high ground as soon as they got a kill. That spawn difference is insanely huge. So even if they do trade 1-for-1 in the opening fight, Rogue are easily able to get back into the battle. And that first stretch, usually you're looking to hold there at least for a couple of minutes, and Rogue were able to just blast through. So they never got their good footing in the second stretch either. Soon was doing a great job there on Tracer to kind of pick off any interceptors or, I guess, returning fighters and not allow them to get that high ground. But we are actually going to King's Row. It's going to be the selection here for Selfless, not one of those control maps that we talked about. So King's Row is a place that Selfless generally win very easily against lesser opponents. They've been known to kind of spawn camp the second stretch, first stretch, third stretch, all at different points against different opponents. So we'll see if Rogue are going to be too powerful for them to allow that, or is Selfless going to go back to their old ways here? We'll find out in a few minutes, I suppose.
Yeah, they don't call it the Selfless defense for nothing. I think they really have pioneered a unique style here in North America. We saw a little bit of that aggressive defense from some of the Korean teams in Apex. I want to say it was season 2. Maybe it was season 1. I can't remember where it started, but it's really been Selfless in North America who have consistently executed that style of play. So, as you mentioned, we are going to head now to King's Row. Selfless opting to start on attack and showing initially like they might mix it up with a Defran Widowmaker, though. Of course, still time to change things before they actually go on attack. But we've seen some like Widowmaker success, I would say, in this tournament. Maybe a bit underrated as a pick. On Ilios has had a lot of success, especially like on the Ruin stage. I think that comes to mind more than anything. And on some of the hybrid maps, finding that opening pickoff, King's Row in particular, a stage where Widowmaker has also done well in the first point.
I think it's interesting. Widowmaker obviously has that risk-reward scale that you've got to keep in mind. If she's not hitting shots, you're literally just bleeding time because you're probably going to end up switching, so you don't gain any ult charge either. And if you are just bashing your head into a wall because your Widowmaker's not killing anything, it can obviously just cripple your chances to move forward because you go to an ult disadvantage. But the strategy of breaking Rein's shield as quickly as you possibly can and then picking off squishies does work from time to time, and Rogue are not running a Reinhardt here. So if Selfless are serious about running this, it means they've done their research and feel that Rogue just very often are going to be sticking with that dive strategy. So if Defran can find some headshots, he's going to get those kills without any barriers to slow him down.
Yeah, it's outside of him, Iman on his customary Hog, and Sinatra going to be running his customary Tracer. So not too many chains ups really for Selfless, and of course, very easy for Defran to swap off the Widow as he is attacking if things aren't working out initially. And meanwhile on the side of Rogue, no big change ups. AKM not going to run the Pharah here. He will be on the Soldier. So really stock and standard stuff. Now, generally on this map, what we have seen, Josh, these teams really want to take that upper area first and then drop down to the point. At least that was the case in a lot of the maps yesterday, but looks like Selfless might be going more directly just onto the point.
Yeah, I think with Roadhog in mind, they run a little bit of a slower comp just to try and get those free kills once in a while, so they're not going to be going all the way around, but Nox already in a little bit of trouble, dove in kind of early there and just found a Roadhog around the corner. That's the one he wants to avoid the most here as Winston, but first push is going to actually just bounce right off of Rogue's defense. They did a good job kind of acting like a catcher's glove or a net of some kind, just kind of falling away once Selfless got onto the point, but the new capture rules need to be kept in mind as well. Those percentages do add up and can dictate games here. Emong is going to be the first to fall in this battle. Kresnik off on his own now, actually getting somewhat surrounded, and Nox and Soon just finding every kill that they're looking for.
All right, so Selfless not having much luck dealing with Soon, been very patient on the flanks. Pulse Bomb going to come out, and even in death, Sinatra maybe getting a little vengeance, but we'll have to see if they can really punish that, as he died right as the team was starting to respawn. They will have to wait for him to regroup, and they're walking into 3 DPS ults. Selfless have their work cut out for them if they want to take this point. AKM playing very far back and defensively. Soon just looking for a clean flank into a pick. Gets the stick, and he will bring down Defran. That's a huge weapon already out of the arsenal of Selfless, who might be denied for a second push here. Not setting the best pace on offense, at least not yet. Carving their way through this retreating Selfless squad. Rogue will find multiple additional kills. Now onto the Hawk. If they can kill off the Lucia, that would be a big stagger kill. Not quite going to secure that one, but instead, Nox jumping in will end up bringing down Sinatra, so Selfless unable to get any momentum as of yet.
Ooh, that was totally wrong place, wrong time, just screwing over Selfless on that one. The Pulse Bomb was obviously meant for Kresnik, but Defran ran through him at the same time and caught the Pulse Bomb sticky instead. So losing Soldier as compared to just some Reinhardt health obviously changed the pace of that one, and Rogue are able to get back one at a time and stay alive long enough to deflect him again. There's 29.1% captured here on A, 1 minute 40 seconds to go. Ults are going to fly out now. They're already one missing on either side. Lots of ults for Rogue have not been used yet. Nico could pull out that Dragon Blade at any moment. Here he does. He's diving right in, and the sound barrier from Rogue is out now. Should be able to allow them to close this one out. Selfless need to go back to the drawing board again.
Uh-oh. And someone staggered right now. Emon trapped inside. Looks to run away. He's going to die late. Now only 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. And by the way, Sinatra did go for a pretty late Zarya swap. If he stays alive in this fight, we'll probably get a grab towards the end of it, but there's a Pulse Bomb to worry about, so no guarantees he'll get to that point. Could come back to haunt them. Let's see if they can pull it off, but this push really does need to work for Selfless. They're in all sorts of trouble. Coming down the home stretch now, as Rogue are looking for the full hold, would be a big difference if they can full hold. Defense looks a whole lot more palatable, and Selfless will have their work cut out for them. But the Fran getting to work with the Nano Visor for now. We'll find wins. Initial kill. Needs a little bit more, though. Nox come in for additional stall on the Winston, up into the skies, then down below. Just still touching the point here and there, but eventually looks like the team is going to start falling. Now Nico's to dive on. He does it without an ult. He likely drops here too. AKM not going to get back to the point in time. So they will cap. It was getting a little scary for Selfless. You don't want to be full held against a team like Rogue on really any map, but not going to quite happen.
I don't want to get full held by anyone, good or bad. But Selfless finally do get the payload moving here. They try to move forward, but Rogue have actually gotten back to the battle pretty quickly here. Earthshatter comes flying out and doesn't really get anything. Wind was up in his face, so of course he takes the brunt of it, but it's actually a 5v5. Nox is doing a great job as Winston, just not attracting attention and putting out a lot of damage. The bubble actually maybe saves his teammates, but AKM does go down. Sinatra and Kresnik both down here for Selfless means this cart is finally going to get free and clear. If they can take out Nox there, they do, and it should be just dominoes falling from this point.
Nico up into the air and just trying to stall an extra second or two. We'll end up dropping, though, so now, well, they stalled it pretty far forward, but a lot of free time for this cart to move, and quite a bit committed. The Earthshatter that didn't really get a whole lot done. The grab, perhaps more importantly. Otherwise, though, 4 ults either ready or about to be, so Selfless still quite a few ult tools available for this upcoming engagement, as we'll see. Nico, meanwhile, holding the blade, a triple DPS ult special coming to a theater near you momentarily. AKM sitting a bit farther back, Soon looking for the flank Pulse Bomb. He's been on the money so far, and he'll find another stick, including himself. It's a triple for Soon. Maybe not the triple he wanted, but hey, he will take down 3, and he gives his team the power play going into the second half of the fight. Emon going to drop as well. And now they can just look to stagger Kresnik to Octal. Likely look for the Sinatra kill.
2-for-1. I'll take that any day as a DPS, just to give your team the odds moving in at the beginning. To find Soldier and Ana is a ridiculous combo there. So much healing and sustain just gets removed instantly. So Tracer, she'll be back in the battle in no time. The spawn distances at this point of the second stretch are actually very even between attackers and defenders. So good play, still a good play, even if he dies in the process. And we've got another attempt here for Rogue. They can actually contest, and the whole hug's going to go flying out from Emong. He falls extremely low on health, but the sound barrier going to keep him alive. We've got a tactical visor from AKM actually putting out a lot of damage, and Rogue seemed to be able to hold here.
Yeah, I was keeping my eyes on Defran through most of that engagement. He just got dove by Nico, and even though Nico couldn't win the duel initially, ensured that there was no chance of a Defran tac visor in a good, secure high ground position. So with that, AKM able to clean up with the help of the team. Good zoning tactics by Nico, and now down to just 30 seconds. They are close to the checkpoint, Joshy, so a clean win here will allow them to move towards point C, but not going to be particularly easy. Nobody touching the payload just yet. Up above is Nox, and he's got the mother of all stalling abilities. He has the Primal Rage ready to go. He's going to wait until the last second. Hangs on to it. Now let's go. Even is going to get the Lucio sound barrier. Right as Defran committing the tech visor, but this has to be one of the least effective Defran tech visors I've ever seen. Now getting the nano boost. I think only just came online. Still though, great grab from Sinatra, and that will clean up.
Yeah, 2 ultimates only used their. Well, actually, excuse me, their Shatter was committed before Kresnik fell. I'm not sure he got a lot out of it, but the Graviton plus Nano Boost was all it took to actually get the team kill. And 90 seconds is not a lot for the third stretch, but if they can win one more engagement, for example, it can buy a lot of mileage here, and that's really all they need to be interested at this point is however many meters they can get, as Nox has just been a phenomenal Winston at stalling constantly, and he's got just great timing for getting in and out safely as Winston. Primal Rages have been on point, as well, but the cart, it moved a long way. That whole first corner was free for them.
AKM with the tag visor available. Doesn't have a nano boost on his team as they are running the Zen, and he's going to flank around here. Look for that pickoff on the rear. Trying to play with that Discord orb, but doesn't get the backup he needs. Emon ends up dropping. Unko 2 wins as well. That's 3 down. Sinatra fragging out and setting them up for a strong final stretch. With 45 seconds to go, even if they lose the fight quickly, they probably get back to the payload, but a prolonged fight into a loss could spell the cart stopping just short. So let's see. Can Selfless close out the map? Emon's going to die first. That is not a great way to start. A lot rests on Defran's shoulders, and he's going to have to do it without a nano boost here.
Well, the distance-wise, at least, is pretty much done so with the map. I mean, even if they get shut down here, they got farther than I thought they would. But Defran is going to need a Pulse Bomb thrown at him, but actually does evade it. Graviton surge out again at perfect timing. Could actually tilt the scales in Selfless's favor. Again, only 13 seconds left. It's pretty rough, but the Pulse Bomb comes through. Soon goes down. Nico is dead as well. Defran just trying to be a one-man army here against Zenyatta. It's kind of crazy how that ended up as a 1v1, but Unko will come out on top, and there's only 1 second left, so Unko will be the ultimate survivor, and Rogue will hang on in the end, but still basically have to complete the entire map once we flip sides here.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Selfless. If Emong had managed to stay alive there, combos the Pulse Bomb with, they got an Ana Grenade off on, I think it was 3 heroes, so 3 heroes purple, grabbed by a very high energy Zarya, and you Pulse Bomb. I think Selfless cleanly win that fight and complete the map, but Emong getting picked early, couldn't quite back in time, found the single kill, but a bit discoordinated, or uncoordinated at the very end. Still Selfless, I think they recovered nicely, Joshy. That looked like they could even be full held on the first point, and I think had that happened, almost certainly Rogue are going to take this. But instead, Rogue has quite a bit of work to do of their own on offense.
That's how it goes. Sometimes you finish point A with like no time left at all, and you end up finishing the entire map. Sometimes in these extra rounds, you get teams finishing the entire map with only 1 minute to work with, and you know, anything can happen here in these tournament matches. Lots of high nerves, lots of pressure perhaps, as these teams have locked up top 3 in a $15,000 event. They're really trying to gun for that first place finish now. And of course, the winner of this best of 5 series will move into the grand finals for North America, definitively saying, hey, we beat pretty much everyone else. And now they will only have to win 1 more match from the losers bracket finals to be able to take the entire tournament. So I'm glad that we're at a 1-1 already. It means the games have been very even. Kings Row almost finishing the map there. Selfless have a chance to defend a little bit better than they did on Dorado if they can.
All right, Selfless, they've shown quite a bit of flexibility with composition, and they are going to, again, bring out the triple tank, so shying away from that Sinatra Tracer, and running a beefier squad with the new Lucio. This kind of death ball does feel a little, at least a little bit stronger. I wouldn't say it's like overwhelmingly better just yet, and we've still seen a lot of other comps work quite effectively, but certainly having that bit of extra healing can be nice. So, Insoon is going to go out in front and wrapping around. Looks like Rogue want to assume control of high ground, at least with the Tracer initially. Will ACAM follow suit? No, he's going to go back to spawn. Quick swap to the Pharah. So he sees the tanks, and he immediately says, we can punish this. They don't really have a way to contest me up in the air.
Unko falls to very low health already and needs to hide a bit as Zenyatta, so orbs were out of play for just a moment. Soon is actually flanked all the way back around the point and is shooting at the backside of the healers and tanks. He actually finds Michael 3D in the mix, but wins AKM, knocks all down. Means Selfless can just back up to the point and still be able to hang on here for their teammates to rejoin them. So Soon, nice individual effort, but not going to work out on this first push. Rogue will need to regroup here.
Just gonna sit back. He really wants that mini pack, but he knows if he peeks too soon, he might just get clipped by a Fire Strike, end up going down initially. AKM, well, the Great Bear experiment was short-lived, Joshy, to put it mildly. He's back on his stock and standard soldier, and looks like he's making it work for now. Found a couple of kills. Iman, though, answering back as the Hawk. He'll get a double. Defran combos with him. And with the swamping, AKM not going to have attack visor, at least not for one more fight, whereas this Selfless defense, everybody very close, above 50% to their ultimates. Probably at least one or two ready. All ready, though, is the Dragon Blade and the Pulse Bomb. So Nico soon looking to open things up here, but indeed, again it's Iman finding another pick to get things underway. He's been a huge part of this defense. Only 2.5 minutes left to go. So Rogue about halfway down as far as time. Still not pushing in yet. I think looking for Soon to open things up as he creeps around in the hallways. Can he get onto anybody? He's been spotted. He lobs in the pulse bomb. It's a swing. It's a miss. So now all rests on Nico's shoulders for that big burst of damage with no tech visor ready. Going to be a tough take.
That's rough for Soon. Actually, he has been finding his mark pretty often throughout, but missing that one to start off this fight helps Selfless out quite a bit. Sinatra is actually falling a little bit low, almost to a Graviton Surge, but they do pick him up in time. Soundbarrier also going to be ready. Emong also going to be ready with the Whole Hog, and here come the ultimates. Transcendence out for the attacking side. Rogue, you've got Whole Hog, you've got Graviton Surge. Sounds like a Nano Boost is active on Defran as well, and all the kills go to Selfless with that great punching up on the Graviton Surge. There's just a pile of bodies there right next to the point, and Selfless are happy to continue deflecting Rogue. If they can just hold them off once or twice more, it could be looking really good for them to try and take game 3.
That looked like all the Omnics and Uprising just getting piled up a mile high. That was a lot of bodies. Here comes what could be the second to last push for Rogue. They need to capture this point and start getting some positive momentum, but Iman coming around, looking for the flank, looks to isolate AKM, won't connect, but the charge is there. Kresnik brings down Nox. That is the only tank out of the picture. Again, Selfless, a confident, aggressive defense. Their staple has been successful. Soon has to limp away. One more reset. They walk into this next fight, 4, maybe 5 ultimates ready. Should have the power play when it comes to ults, but need something to connect.
Yeah, this is definitely do or die for Rogue. I think with all these ults against only a nano boost, they have to win this fight. Like this is the one. So if they don't take an early pick, they should be able to get this finish off. Unko on the Zenyatta has been actually focused down a few times here, so I'm looking to try and keep him alive. Wins is very low on health. He's going to drop the sound barrier immediately as soon as it becomes available. Tactical visor ready from AKM. He starts firing. Nox is going to be the first one down though, and Selfless, they gave up the point itself just to back up a little bit, but they found the first kill, and now Defran has a visor of his own. So Natra goes down in the mix, but Defran surging back here should be able to find more. Zenyatta hits the Transcendence, but Unko is going to be forced back, and Selfless have done it. 15 seconds left. Rogue, one last opportunity. Primal Rage, you better bet, is going to be used here.
Well, Soon knows he needs to get some sort of pick off just to give his team an opening. Last chance, he can touch the point. Looks like they might be hunting for him. They are playing rather defensively here. So Selfless knowing that one good fight means they are up 2-1 and on series point the rest of the way. Big moment for them. Rogue pushing in. It's Unko who draws first blood. Nox able to Primal Rage inside a very compact and tight-knit corner as Defran sits back from afar with Sinatra about to get a grab. He lands a pretty good one on the point. It's enough. The combo is there. Kresnik coming through with the Fire Strike will wipe them out, and Rogue, well, almost full held Selfless, but Selfless the ones who actually pull the full hold off.
Well, Selfless and Rogue are both 15-2 in map scores now, so Selfless really sticking it to them there. That defense was quite phenomenal, and it very often came down to who could get that first pick first, and Selfless time and time again came out on top. Emong, obviously, terrific job as Roadhog all game long on offense and defense. Those instant kills really add up. He's kind of like a final boss in any engagements where ultimates are not available, and even when ults are available, he can fire them into a Graviton Surge like that. So Emong, excellent play there for sure. Going to help Selfless to the win on King's Row, and got to hand it to Selfless again. They went from being brutalized on Dorado to, you know, not losing their morale or momentum or anything, bring it back to another payload map and get the win.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing for me about this series is both teams, even when they drop a map, it's never like, all right, well, they might be tilted right now, or they might, you know, you start to see them over adapting and picking a composition they're not comfortable with. We saw that from some of the other teams who have been eliminated earlier in the tournament, but Rogue and Selfless, they know how they play best, which styles work for them, and have made very few adjustments, only mild tweaks at times, mainly like the AKM Pharah, and then for Selfless it's either running more of the triple tank comp with Sinatra and the Zarya, or picking up the Tracer for him. But otherwise, the team's just looking to outplay their opponents, which shows a lot of confidence, I think, in their individual abilities. So now we go to Route 66, Rogue's choice. They opt for defense first. We've seen some strong defensive holds on Route 66 the last day or two, Josh. We saw a Sombra hold. We saw a Torbjorn hold on the first point by, I forget who it was. I think FaZe held with the Torb, and the Sombra hold came yesterday from Liquid. So we've seen some great Route 66 defenses. Can Rogue repeat or create their own new formula, I guess? That's the question.
Yeah, the Liquid Sombra hold I did get to see. That one was quite entertaining. I did not actually catch the Torb, unless that was a different series maybe. But
it was Forsaken. Wow. Forsaken, like, sometimes we'll just play Torb on first point defense, and then if it doesn't work, he goes over to Lucio.
That's impressive, because usually I think in the last 100 times I've seen Torb, he's been effective like 5 times.
Yeah.
So
that's my stats as well.
Yeah, but Route 66, it makes sense. I mean, Dorado is a full payload map, and Rogue seem to have very few difficulties. They love running these assassins. Tracer and Genji can both be super effective here as well. Mobility is not as super necessary on Route 66 as it is on Dorado, so perhaps with the triple tank plus soldier, Selfless won't be as rigid, I guess is the right word I'm looking for here. They'll be able to move around a little bit easier, even if they do use the Reinhardt and Roadhog. That was kind of a problem for them. But here on Route 66, I think the street itself is where the bulk of the fighting actually goes down. Not like Dorado, where you've got that high ground second stretch and the high ground third stretch constantly being battled over. So could be a little easier for Selfless in that regard, but of course you're facing Rogue, who have not lost the series in 2017 as far as we're aware, so it's always going to be a difficult task no matter what. They are in a position that no other teams have really been in up to this point, where they have a chance to really give Rogue this first match loss.
Well, Joshy, all good things have to come to an end. I think Envious's run last year kind of proves that. So is this their time? We'll find out. For now, this is something we have seen a lot. So this was pretty much what Liquid did yesterday. Different composition, but same overall game plan. The hyper-aggressive spawn camp on Route 66. Not holding up big girls. They're holding basically right outside spawn doors. There's some great high ground positions there. If you can get ahead in this position, your spawn travel time is obviously awful, but your angles are great.
Yeah, it's still interesting. Like, the scale of risk to reward on this one, I feel like does favor a very aggressive defense, just because it takes so long for the cart to move around that first corner, and if you're running dive, all your heroes are fast anyway. But Emong is gonna be the first one nuked down. AKM on the high ground actually plants the Helix rocket and some nice shots, in addition to all his flanking buddies up at the front. So the cart is gonna be held immediately by Rogue, and that buys them just a little bit of time while Emong respawns.
I'm starting to feel like on Route 66, maybe we should just have 2 attack icons, you know, 1 for each team, because that's how the defenses have been opting to play it as of late. But soon, now moving in onto Emon, wants to kill him off before he turns away from Purple. Purple is a bad color. And soon will manage to get the kill, but in doing so, he's exposed himself pretty hard. Stalling nicely, has a pulse bomb. A pick here could take the wheels off this proverbial cart. He will end up dying though, and with that, looks like they may have to reset a little bit now. The Zarya club in action begins. Sinatra gets a little overeager, perhaps a bit too confident. Ends up falling, but you can trade like that when you're offense at this stage of the map.
Totally, yeah. Offense our favorite here just with spawns, and defense, you can see everyone actually runs all the way away. They do not want to get jumped on by a bunch of angry Roadhog, Reinhardt, Lucio combos, so they're going to back all the way up, wait for the entire team to get back. Ana is a pivotal part of this composition with the sleep darts and the biotic grenade, so good play, actually, just being cautious. We've got Soon already in the back line here as Tracer with the pulse bomb ready. Kresnik has been his target more often than not, so I expect to see that to open the fight.
They all try to run away, but instead they walk indoors where the pulse bomb will connect, but no follow-up. It was hard to jump in there. It looks like it could have been a team wipe or something had they been squishier heroes, but not actually the case, as Nico still looking for a blade opening. He's going to dash in. We'll get the hack kill. Meanwhile, Defran doing what Defran does best, which is hitting that nano visor and finding frags. He's going to boost himself onto the rooftop, but doesn't have the follow-up damage. Now Nico looking to answer back, swinging, and, well, that didn't work out too well. Genji down for the count. Iman traded for, though, as Selfless continue to try to move forward. They're going to shield Defran. He goes in for round 2. Kresnik coming back to the fray, and he's got a hammer to work with, so this is a tough defense. He does manage to find the Win's pick off. That's a big one. Win's going to go down. Now, Soon with the pulse bomb, looking for the jump here on Defran. He'll get the kill. He recalls back. That was close, but no cigar for Defran. Almost had him, and now they get wiped. They are being held.
That was an incredibly important fight for Selfless, and they let it slip away. It was a 4v4 there, so after the Earthshatter landed, they had a potential chance to kind of take the lead, but it was AKM on the high ground on top of the gas station the entire time, just free-firing in that 4v4, so only one person had to contest the cart. He got focused down, and Soldier built up enough to actually get an ultimate and clean things up as his teammates return. So Rogue, hang on once again, 1 minute, 8 seconds, not a ton of time here for Selfless. They're trying a crazy flank here with all their tanks. Graviton Surge planted directly onto Soldier and Winston. Primal Rage, Winston is caught in there, but the whole hog comes right into it to end his life. This is a great opening for Selfless. They need to take care of Tracer, perhaps the most important target at this point.
Good patience by Soon. He didn't let the pulse bomb loose too early when it wouldn't have been enough to burst down a hero. Ends up finding the kill on Sinatra, takes him out of the fight, so no more projected barriers as this rages on. Nico back in the fray now. They have the Transcendence, they have the blade, and hacking and slashing. Nico should be able to bring down 2. Hold the cart, getting close and close to the full hold now. They only need 20 more seconds of hold. They're going to have to rush to just touch this cart. Can they do it, Joshy?
And that's so sad for Selfless. They had, multiple times where they could have gotten in there, but AKM again, pretty much untouched. They don't have any mobile tanks to go rush at him until now. Emong switching off of Roadhog onto D.Va. I think this will help them out a bit, but is it going to be too little too late? There's only a few seconds. Defran is going to get the nano boost. He's looking for the tactical visor as well. AKM already hit the button on his. Emong finding the kill on Unko's a nice start, but Soon finds a pulse bomb again. We've got 3 dead on both sides. Actually, Nox is staying alive. Did Nox actually survive? AKM getting focused now by Emong's D.Va suit, but Emong gets popped out instead, and Rogue still standing on the cart. Just Nico there now, but Selfless have a big opportunity to try to get this checkpoint and some extra mileage for themselves.
Nico on 14 HP comes right back into the angry German hammer. Kresnik swatting the Genji out of the skies. The fly is down, and now they push forward. Only 2.5 minutes to get through the second phase. So again, another map where Selfless looks like they might be full held, but instead are able to just barely clear through the checkpoint. Now, will they pull off the same feat they did on King's Row and get it all the way towards the end of the stage? Still a lot of work left to do.
Defense do have plenty of time to set up on the high ground. Soldier and Ana already posted up. You've got Zen still in play here from Wins, taking out Defran on the Tracer. Pretty nice opening for Rogue. They're going to jump right onto the cart. Nico deflecting some damage back, and the tanks themselves, they just don't have the range to be able to deal with this without their Soldier available, so it's going to be pretty tough. Emong actually does find the kill on Soon. Sound Barrier is going to fly out from Selfless, and they will kill off Nox, who is at the back line trying to catch the people running back to battle. So we've got the cart itself finally being freed up. Defran gets 3 kills back to back to back, and there's a 4th on Wins. Great stuff from Defran to keep this drive alive.
Yeah, and no tac visor. That was just pure Defran just doing work at the end of the fight. So coming into the next fight, Sinatra about to pick up a Graviton Surge, and that is the one downside to this dive comp, is if your Winston goes down early, someone has to get on the cart, and while, Genji, Tracer have ways to reset the fight, they're still squishy. It only takes a couple of hits to bring them down, so not able to stand on it for long. and all that long-range damage suddenly becomes short-range damage, which is where a high-energy Zarya is extremely happy, as Winston will jump in, try to initially put the pressure on Sinatra. He does get off the grab at the very end of the fight, but the Fran going to go down immediately. Not a great start here for Selfless. Getting the cart stopped, it looks like, with the Transcendence even committed. Now the charge away from Kresnik back towards the help of his own Anna's Waiting Arms. They have found a few kills. A Caddick skirmish breaking out on the payload. Nox jumping in, staying alive for now. Finds the hack kill, but has to deal with the Ryan nano boost. He says, I can get bigger too. I'm gonna pump you up. Nox staying alive on the cart right at the checkpoint. 1 meter to go. Hammer swinging, arms thrashing, but he jumps up in the air, and with that, they will cap.
Lots of ridiculous deaths over the course of that fight, if I'm honest. We had Winston there at the very end, of course, but when all the ults were flying out, there was a Graviton plus combo found 2 and really set Rogue back a little bit. That would have been a 5v3 that they would have been able to hang on to. So even though Sinatra did die as he launched it, they were able to get that follow-up they needed from Emong. And now they're into the final stretch here, 90 seconds to go. Soon and company from Rogue all the way pressed up. The Earthshatter catches 2. Can they get both kills? AKM goes down, but not soon. Tracer just so hard to take out here. Pulse Bomb's got to go out, but actually just gives Zarya some charge instead. Sinatra very quick on the bubble that time. Nico's going to get warded away as well, and Tactical Visor is active from Defran. Rogue have some ults to work with if they want to try to counter, but they only have a few alive, and they're a bit scattered, so the cart is going to continue to move for now.
Oh, this could be real bad for Selfless, as Rogue have a Nano Visor ready. I was going to say getting that early pick on AKM was crucial with the Nano Boost ready to go. Here comes the cart, rushing into the fight. Juki around the corner, but has to deal with a D.Va who's got a sound barrier and a fresh mech to work with. Plus a Rhine Shield. AKM looks like it could be a brilliant engagement. He gets absolutely nothing out of that. Nico now, he's got to be the man to stand on the cart. Has the sword available, but going to go down without getting to use it soon. Coming back soon, but maybe not staying for long with being the Tracer and 6 heroes on the payload and all. So they put Kresnik to sleep. Cart continues to move. No Nano Visor for this next fight, no Pulse Bomb. It's just a Genji Blade, and Nico has to find something to get by time for those other DPS to get involved.
Well, the attacking team Selfless, they're going to open up with that Nano Boost on Defran. He doesn't have Visor just yet, but Winston's going to jump right on him. 99%. There's 100 for Defran. Is he in a position to use it? He's going to hit the button anyway. Wins Transcendence. Going to negate a lot of that damage. Nox has the Primal Rage, and there's only 5 seconds left to touch the cart. Selfless, I don't think they're going to have anyone in there. Dak actually takes the Discord Orb and the Death just to get that overtime triggered, but Kresnik's on the cart himself. He's trying to find some kills, gets surrounded by the flankers. Pulse Bomb goes out, finds nothing from Soon, but it is going to be an easy cleanup here. And we're in the same situation we had in King's Row, where Selfless get a meter away from actually finishing the map, but it does look like they're going to get shut down. Spawns just favor Rogue too much here, and that is going to be the case.
Oh, Sinatra has to be a little annoyed. He was at like 95% on the grab. Could have been the tide turner, but just ended up getting focused on a bit too quickly. So like you said, still a pretty decent offensive showing in the end, especially if you like evaluate it from the point where they almost got held on the first stage. So not the best offense we've ever seen by any means on Route 66, but could be good enough if Selfless bring that same level of defensive prowess to bear here. So now we're going to switch sides, and we do the whole dance again. With a win here, Joshy, that would wrap up the winner bracket finals. We would see Selfless moving on to the grand finals with the comfort of the winner bracket advantage, knowing that they can sit back and relax the rest of the day, whereas Rogue have to dive right into the lower bracket finals, face a streaking Liquid. Not a situation you want to be in.
Right. That's true. Liquid have been on probably one of their best tournament runs ever, to be honest, in the Overwatch pit here, but Rogue are still, you know, kind of in that rarefied air where no one has been able to take them down. If Selfless are the first ones to do it here, that still means the rest of NA need to catch up to Rogue and Selfless. So Rogue, even if, you know, if they do drop Route 66, I still favor them as a grand final participant one way or the other, but Team Liquid will have the chance to play spoiler and continue to turn some heads in that lower bracket final. But this is a best of 5, so even this is not all said and done yet. Rogue could just blast through here with a blazing fast time, just like they did on Dorado. These first fights really have been just determining who has advantage every single time because the teams are so closely matched.
Welcome to the Panorama Diner, Team Rogue. Could be the start of a great adventure here in Overwatch Pit, North America, or it could be a quick exit down to the lower bracket with a long day ahead of them. We'll find out now. They go on to offense. Should Rogue complete the map, they will end up taking it. But should they fall short of the end of it, then they'll end up, unfortunately, dropping down. So a lot at stake for them, and quite a decent amount of prize money as well as they get involved. Nox jumping in initially, goes for the leap, doesn't quite find the opening. Nico dashing in to follow that up. No connections for kills just yet, and these tanks will immediately heal it all back away, but it's not as aggressive of a defense. Dashing in and out, Nico's going to find one, gets the Iman pick, really good combination from Rogue. Looking for more, and starting to just pick off heroes one by one. They keep the payload moving. Oh, very confident assault.
Nico's dash timing was insane there. He dashed in because he knew he could get that kill on Iman with that last bit of damage and dashed out immediately. Dove right into the heart of 5 people to get the job done. So Rogue coming away with those early kills. Again, just setting the pace here so Selfless have a chance to regroup. Nox, when he jumped in initially on Winston, he actually got booped skywards by Dak. That new boop can actually be really, really powerful if you got the momentum behind it, and it actually helped him out a little bit, but the first kill still went to Nico. There's another one onto Defran, setting the pace again. AKM gets a kill on Michael 3D, and Rogue are in a 5v4 advantage here.
Yeah, Nico with the blade ready, though he is going to go down to the hammer of Kresnik. Still a swing in, but not for much longer. They're close here. Should they win this fight, they'll be able to push it through, and that's the call from Unko. He says, let's transcend this dark and cold place. Let's move forward to phase 2. But Defran, looking to answer back, has the nano visor. He sneaks in from the rear, finds the triple, holds the cart in a bad position, and they did blow the Transcendence there, so should they fail to win this fight, they're going to blow a lot of time and a lot of ults on this engagement. But coming back into action now, Nico has the blade, soon has the pulse bomb, and the beauty of the dive comp when you're on offense is it doesn't take you as long to get back to the payload. So down to Transcendence, but not down all that much time.
The surprise Defran there worked out beautifully. He showed up just in time to collect 3 kills on low health targets as the fight had already broken down. That's the best time you can really hope for a Soldier. Soon and Nox actually both going to jump on Defran here. Make life difficult for him, actually take him out of the fight. And Dak gets killed before the sound barrier can land. That is huge for Rogue. Pulse Bomb finds 2. Soldier and Ana are just too good of friends. They get killed by the Pulse Bomb every time together. And Rogue are going to continue to roll through here. Checkpoint should be all theirs on this one.
Yeah, they'll have to reset now. Defran assuming control of the rooftops, at least for now. AKM, meanwhile, on his Soldier counterpart, has the long walk back, but will sprint his way up, looking for an opening through the ramp with his own tag visor already available for this upcoming engagement. Both teams having the sound barriers you mentioned to hack, unable to get off in the last fight. And to go with that, the X Factor could be this Graviton Surge, though there's not a whole lot to dump into it, just the whole hog. Not always the easiest spell to execute in a team fight, especially against so many mobile targets, but they are going to look to keep control of that upper walkway, diving deep and forcing heroes back. They dropped the Lucy Ult fairly early into the fight. Nox getting picked off here pretty quickly too. Wasn't able to Primal Rage, didn't quite have it, unfortunately, as the fight broke out. And now Defran finding the openings on the high ground for the time being. Staying alive, they get the grab off. He's going to be able to charge up Attack Visor, but no, Nico comes in. Sneaking Nico finds the kill. And now onto Sinatra. They are managing to win the fight and do so convincingly. Nico, often I would say overshadowed a little bit by AKM and Soon, but this map has really felt like the Nico show as of late.
He's doing great, and this fight is so important for Selfless. This is like the fight they have to win to give themselves a much better chance of taking the map. They have some ults to work with. That Graviton Surge did not pay off like they wanted because of the attack visor from AKM jamming them up, basically. But we have Reinhardt exiting from the lower exit. Zarya's going to go to higher exits, make sure that they get at least one tank out there. Nox is going to try and play bodyguard here, but Tactical Visor's out from Defran. He did not use it in the last engagement. Blade finds 2 in one slice, though. Nico continuing his dominance here. We've got Emong's ult out, trying to get something, but Winston doing a good job keeping line of sight. Wins on the cart, continues to move it here. Emong's now on his own, trying to 2v1, 3v1, maybe even 4v1. He gets a little bit of value before going down, but the cart should reach its destination again. Selfless, that was their fight. They had to win that one because now time is definitely against them on the final stretch.
4 minutes to go. We have seen some great stalls when a team tries to complete the map, but don't quite have to do that. Do have to get pretty close to it, though. So Rogue now knocking on the door of a win, which would force that game 5. And they open it up. Nox, Primal Rage available. Waiting for a good opening. Defran strikes first, though. Let's get the kill. AKM, meanwhile, with the Tech Visor still in his back pocket, it's going to reset. They want Nico in this fight. Nico giving some props to a staunch opponent here. Always nice to see that good sportsmanship. Selfless do poke out pretty far. They know they have to be aggressive with how much time is in the bank right now for Rogue.
Rogue jumps right in. Nox is always the initiator, but Dufran's going to get the nano boost. This is the most often I've seen a nano boost without actually having the visor ready. And Dufran, I mean, you can trust his aim, but it's kind of crazy how often Selfless are using it to affect. Sinatra and Kresnik both getting a couple of kills there means Rogue will be set back towards spawn soon, is just going to head on back home, as well as Unko taking a few shots from out there. But Selfless, this is not really a spawn camp, I would say, but it is pretty much the most aggressive defense we've seen out of them yet.
It kind of morphed into what was starting to look like one. That was a big stagger on Nox as he jumped up on the rooftop, had like, I don't know, maybe 10 HP or something, and ended up dying to the D.Va. So really nice dive by Emong. Getting a clutch kill, that probably buys them an extra 15, 20 seconds off that clock, and they're holding very far forward. They almost have a grab against Sinatra, close to it. He's hanging back, waiting for his openings here. He's got 80 energy to work with as well. This could be huge. Sumiwa with the pulse bomb. He is going to drop the grab. Big setup opportunity soon, forced to evacuate town as Dufran stands strong, but Nico there with the blade. 3, 4, he racks up the kills, takes over the feed, and keeps that payload rolling.
They killed the wrong people in the Graviton Surge, evidently, as Nico still had his blade ready to go once that fight was already like halfway over. Just low health targets everywhere on Selfless's side. Nico took full advantage with another great blade. D.Va Suit is in a perfect spot here, but unfortunately Rogue all have time to find line of sight exits. That high ground is actually perfect because you catch a lot more people rather than when it falls on the ground. But we've got a kill on both sides now. Selfless actually have the advantage on spawns. AKM is not going to use attack visor. He's just on the high ground here with Zenyatta, so if anyone does go address that, they probably could find those kills. Dufran's going to get the nano boost without visor again, and Nico and AKM finding some kills means Dufran is going to actually get the visor active now. Primal Rage is up in his face, trying to block all those shots. The card itself still being contested by Dak, the pro Lucio, but as he goes down, this is looking scary for Selfless. There's only 1 minute left for Rogue to drive it home.
Not a single kill yet for poor Dufran. An unfortunate soul is soon, all the while, proved to be the Hound just nipping at his heels. Eventually, they'll kill him off. A celebratory pulse bomb hits the corpse of the Rhine. Just Lucio now trying to dance on the cart, diving in, and just as quickly diving back in 6 feet under into the grave is Emon, and it is a map 5, Joshy. We get it. This has easily been the best series of the tournament.
I mean, I think we expected it to be close. This it's kind of interesting how Rogue have really kind of put their foot down on both of the full payload maps, but then get full held on King's Row. It's kind of boggles the mind a little bit. They didn't even get to push a payload there, but they're obviously excelling at it. So now Selfless, this is an interesting position for them because there's a lot of maps left to choose from. They're in a position where they get to pick the map and which side they want to start on. Rogue have not been beat in a very long time, but Selfless could be the first ones to do it here. Here's Nico, who had just a phenomenal performance on Route 66, getting play of the match, but it's do or die time. I don't know what their map's going to be. Like, they won Nepal, but it wasn't, you know, the most convincing thing in the world. King's Row was actually a better win for them, I'd say, over the course of these matches. So a couple of options for them. We've got Ilios, Lijiang Tower still out there as far as payload maps. Actually, that's all the payload maps done now, so I do expect a control over Hanamura, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the fans might boo if someone takes Hanamura. Teams have not wanted to play it. At least in this particular phase, we did see teams really preferring a lot more in the group stage, but the pool of teams remaining largely have shied away from it. Only if it's been randomed as the first stage have we gone to Hanamura. So, Lijiang Tower it is. Easily could be 5. I'm hoping that this is just an absolute knockdown, drag-out brawl of a finale to close things out. Remember, loser guys gets like maybe a very short break to grab a drink or something, but then they come back and they have to face Liquid in another BO5. This is turning out to be a grueling day for whoever loses this series.
That's true, and Liquid, as we've mentioned, showing some of their best games yet as a team, to be honest. This is a top 3 performance for them, and I'm just going to quickly visit their team page here to see what their previous, accolades were, and I think 5th through 6th place finishes have pretty much been the norm for them in the last few months. So being top 3 already, a great look for them, but it's going to be a really big challenge, Selfless or Rogue, for Team Liquid to try and get through into that grand final. We'll see, obviously, as soon as our Game 5 is over, but Lijiang Tower, if you weren't here for the first game of the series, Selfless did take Nepal as Game 1 in a 3-2 bout. It was not a stomp by any means. Very, very close points. We had a couple of 99-99s by the end of it. So I'm very anxious to see Selfless and Rogue battle it out again there.
Yeah,
Legion Tower.
I mean, to be honest, there hasn't really been a map where I felt like one team was just getting bodied, even if, you know, like we saw previously, there was a full hold on a hybrid map. It never was like, all right, there's no way they can capture this. They're definitely getting held. It just ended up turning out that way. So I feel like on the control point maps, it was really the same story. Very hotly contested battles, usually getting close to 99-99. Or closer to it than like 100-0, that's for sure. In most of those scenarios, been back and forth. So it really does test your team's resilience, their emotional fortitude, all those lovely attributes that make competitive Overwatch so exciting. So we get ready now. It looks like we were waiting on Michael 3D. Had to go take a quick break, but he's back and into the action. Legion Tower, let's go. It's game 5. This is Overwatch PIT North America, and we're into what will be our final map of this series, and setting up for a fantastic lower bracket finals immediately after, and then the grand finals tomorrow. As Joshi was mentioning earlier, guys, $15,000 in prize money at stake. Top 4 in the money for each region. We'll have the European finals tomorrow as well, so promising to be a great kind of final run as we approach the end of Overwatch PIT.
All right, guys, this is it. It's do or die time. 2-2 series score. The last time that Rogue and Selfless played a BO5, Rogue ended out on top 3-2. So this is Selfless' chance to bust a huge streak as well as to get some revenge from the previous event. And in just a few moments, the doors will be open. So let's get your votes in the chat. I want to see the number 1 for Selfless, the number 2 for Rogue. Any other number gets you banned, so be very careful. But I want to see who you guys really feel is going to walk away with the victory here.
Uh-oh. Joshi laying down the hammer of his own. You said you're a Pharah main, but that sounded like a Ryan main thing to say.
I've got my golden axe too. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Play a fair bit of.
All right. Well, here we go. No goldens in this one, unfortunately, but lots of frags nonetheless. Sure to come. It is the Pharah for Cam, though. Bringing it out again. He's shown a propensity to do it. Looking for that early boop off the map. Doesn't look like he's going to find it, but is pressuring Defran nicely. Defran getting dove on pretty hard. Winston coming in. They sense weakness. They see blood in the water, but they haven't been able to track him down yet. Defran just bunny hopping like a madman all over the place. They dive back, and then finally they'll get the kill. They get 2-3 others as well. Managing to carve apart Selfless real easily.
It's interesting that you say blood in the water because there is actually a fish pond in the center of this map. There very easily could be blood in that water by the end of this. 2% now for Rogue as they're the first ones to grab the point. Busting out the Pharah Mercy for the first time. AKM had Pharah earlier, but there was no Mercy involved. So Defran may have his hands a little bit more full here, trying to take out both of those flyers rather than just one. The point itself is under hot contestation right now. Selfless busting in from the hallway side. Rogue trying to do their best to kill them as they come in.
Sinatra looking to get a lot done on the ground. It'll be Defran sticking behind that Rhine shield, but not the best lineup at dealing with all this mobility as the Rhine static nature. Oh no, Sinatra just going to jump off the map here. He's taken out of the fight very early. That is not a great way to start. Now they lose 2 more on the back of it. Defran's like, well, I'll try and carry, but you guys are real heavy in this one. Michael 3D ends up falling as well. Does have the nano boost go to the next engagement, but some uncharacteristic mistakes from and just deaths here from Selfless. As Sinatra even going to swap off the Tracer. Feels like it's not working. They are going to bust out their own Pharah. So, I mean, unusual for a team to just say, let's screw it. Let's just die and swap basically mid-fight. But that more or less seems like what happened.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. 60% already for Rogue means there's not a ton of time to try and figure it out or make it work. Defran hopping onto the Pharah now means he's going to try and win this air battle, but Pharah against Pharah Mercy is pretty darn difficult. Deep Explosion goes out. Nothing found there for, it looks like Emong actually launched the suit. Pulse Bomb going out soon. Does find Sinatra this time, though, so he has been pretty accurate with those all day. Nano Boost coming out. Barrage as well from AKM finds 2, and he is getting just mass finishing blows. Rez comes in on the side of Rogue, and that will ensure their victory in this fight. 85% sends Selfless back to spawn in very low hopes of trying to reclaim it now.
Yeah, not a particularly fast lineup either. I don't even think they touch, to be honest. Maybe Emon can get in there, but he's being hounded every step of the way, gets pushed back a bit, and will be thoroughly denied here. It looks like has to throw the Diva Bomb in. Will be resetting, but not even able to touch. That was a bit of a spanking to get things started on Legion Tower. Quick 1-0 lead, and you know, for Selfless, I guess there are maybe some concerns. Last time, I think it was, what, they jumped out 2-0 against Rogue and then ended up dropping 3-0, got reverse swept. That's not quite the way this series unfolded, but I wonder if that Spectre is haunting them a little bit as they now find themselves already down 0-1 on Legion.
It seems that my microphone might be coming out weird on the stream.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll try calling you back real quick.
Let's do it.
All right, apologies about that, guys, but we get into the action now as we resume play on Legion Tower. Welcome back, Joshy.
Cool.
Selfless into the mix already. We will be entering the night market.
As the teams open up here, you've got Reinhardt on one side, full dive on the other. Rogue going back to their roots here. No Pharah Mercy in play this time, but Selfless are playing their Selfless comp with the mix of Sinatra playing Zarya rather than the Tracer. But that is to make use of the new Lucio's healing powers. Unko is going to get hooked in and taken out before her Emon can even blast him down. So Selfless have a nice advantage moving in here. Wins also very low. Did eat a Biotic Grenade as well. If they can find that Lucio quickly, maybe Selfless can try to flip this point back quickly. But Rogue actually get the percentage climbing already.
Yeah, Soon alive through it all. Does manage to get the pulse bomb connection off and takes down a critical target into Fran. He can keep this alive with the hook down. Not a whole lot to corral the Tracer. Well, the hammer apparently works pretty well against the double pistol whip action. Goes in for the Rhyme, but gets the shield at a critical moment. Kresnik kept alive. They flank in from the rear. Still trying to bring him down. Finally, they'll slay Kresnik, but it took quite a while. The Fran about to come back. They have a nano boost. They have a visor if they want to commit, but meanwhile, the point has already been capped as Rogue continue to rack up percentages. Defran is going to lead as far as the kill score goes after that engagement, but the percentages going the way, at least initially there, of Rogue.
And yeah, it's Selfless finally getting their foot back in. They've got Sound Barrier here to try and defend with. Wins will be able to match it if, you know, things start going south, but Pulse Bomb goes out, doesn't get anything for it. A rare miss there from Soon to start things off. Unko falling very low in the Zenyatta. Every time Unko appears, they turn to him quickly and try and blow him up, and that's just what you got to do to the Zenyatas. We have Sound Barrier out now here from Wins. Is going to start Rogue into the point. Graviton Surge grabs up several, though, and Winston and Genji both trapped in there. Should be a nice cleanup for Selfless, and Sound Barrier actually being committed to both sides.
Not over yet, though.
Slight advantage.
Kresnik does have the Earth Shatter ready. Hangs on to the point, at least for now. Gets dove a bit by the Winston. Sinatra, lots of energy, but not lots of health, and soon punishes that. Comes in, quickly finds the stick, finds the kill. Still the point, though, in Selfless control, and probably the worst way to lose a fight like this is a prolonged engagement where you don't quite finish heroes off they need to. Iman will take a breather. He'll back up. He gets knocked off the map, though. Big boop by Wins. They could just barely turn the tides. Now trying to force back to Fran. There's the hammer drop. At least buying them a bit more time, but Kresnik down for the count. And Dahak out of the picture. They'll get a couple additional kills. They will recapture. And no hammer now available for the upcoming brawl. As they charge onto the Fran, they'll get the stagger kills. Really well done here as Rogue don't really give an inch and then look to take a mile off of the back of that one fight.
Yep. Just to appease the chat 5 minutes ago, would you mind swapping the overlay if you haven't already? It looks like we had the wrong teams for the beginning of Lijiang Tower here, but that's all right. Selfless battling into the point now, only have the Nano Visor to work with. Defran is usually good for a double or a triple kill, but he's going to get focused very quickly. Pulse Bomb goes out, and soon an AKM get the first kills instead. Nico, with his blade that he does so well with, is trying to get some added value, but they are already fully in control of this fight. 75% now and climbing, and they're looking to put this at a 2-0 lead on Lijiang Tower. Selfless haven't been able to do anything here.
Getting run over. Selfless getting a taste of their own medicine, almost not quite, but close to being spawn camped on Lijiang after a strong start, or comeback, I should say. Struggling to keep it up, but coming into the next fight. Eyes on Sinatra, 100 energy, has the grab, available as well. He gets two. Unko, it's going to end up finding quite a few kills on the back of that. Looked really awkward at first with the Transcendence in play, but stays alive on the point. So difficult to duel Azaria with this much energy. We'll try for it again soon. Stalling in overtime. He'll get the Sinatra kill. Can he turn out to flip it all on his own? Looking for the Kresnik pick, but Kresnik has the shield. Here come the reinforcements. They dive him from the left, from the right, from above, everywhere. They swarm in. They will kill off the Rhine, and just like that, round 2 in the books, Rogue are streaking towards a potential win.
Yeah, attackers from everywhere, that's just too many angles to defend from, LD. You just can't do it. That's gonna fold over Reinhardt pretty quickly there, and Rogue sitting at a 2-0 lead on Lijiang Tower. We know that it's possible for Selfless to fight back, because if any of you guys were actually here for the European portion of the event earlier today, there was an 0-2 comeback to be a 3-2 victory for E-United over Dignitas earlier to send E-United into the grand finals. So definitely don't count Selfless out here. Any given point can go their way, and we're into the control center now. AKM starting out on the fair is kind of interesting here. I generally don't favor it for this indoor level, but he could still make it work.
All right, got a reverse sweep now on Lijiang to take it. Selfless, who at one point led this series 2-1, looked like they could just close it out 3-1, now have to battle back. Muster your courage, men. That has to be the call. AKM up on the high ground, does have the Mercy pocket for the time being, and not much to contest it as Defran is playing the Tracer, so no customary soldier, but AKM quickly slept. That's one way to take the bear out of the skies. Doesn't get the kill, though. Unfortunately, there wasn't quite enough follow-up. Stays alive, gets back up to the safe high ground, and continues to apply pressure here. Sinatra will end up falling, though, and so a lot of work now has to be done by Defran. Gets the stick onto Nico, well, tries for it anyway, not enough for the kill, unfortunately. Counter pulse bomb, answering back soon with the better connection, finds the kill, still no contest for AKM. I don't know if they could deal with the Sparrow with this lineup.
Man, it's interesting how much value Fair's getting, even without the Mercy. AKM just staying hidden the best he can. It turns out the long-range damage with no fall-off is actually a huge benefit, maybe even over the Soldier because of the amount of barriers that are involved. And if he can get over the top of those Reinhardt shields, for example, it can be really nice. And Zarya has a tough time against Pharah as well. Once the bubbles are down, she's kind of just a sitting duck because of her mobility. But we do have Rogue up to 25% now. Selfless doing their best to try and flip it back. Have a nano boost left. Emong still trying to find those hooks. They haven't been coming as much lately. AKM actually does get a barrage out. Unka with the Mercy, giving him a little bit of damage amp on that one.
Oh, this is not good for Selfless. Quickly losing multiple heroes. Now getting staggered a bit on the way out. They are going to have a grab coming in the next engagement. To go with it, a whole hog. No, going to commit it now. Sinatra, how much can he possibly get done with this? Apparently a hell of a lot, but there's the Mercy res. Now the sound barrier drop. They really got to win this fight as they start to commit more ults into it. So much energy, so much power. This Zarya lifts, and she's making it work. Through it all, Sinatra does not die, apparently cannot die. The team, as the bulwark in the front lines, keeps him in fighting shape, driven back almost to the wall. He turns it around. Soon now onto the point. And soon, not there for long, he will fall as well. AKM has to retreat to the spawn. And by the way, Sinatra, 59%. He's almost 2/3 of the way back to another grab.
Well, at least Selfless managed to flip it back before it's 99%. It's been pretty rough for them so far in Lijiang Tower. They've got to hold on the best they can, and Kresnik does have an Earth Shatter here. Again, it can be difficult to line up a lot of targets just because of the heroes that are in play. So AKM off of the Pharah actually does help out with that a little bit. Defran going down early does not. Unko hits that long-range Zenyatta shot to start the fight, and Rogue already at a huge advantage, jumping in now. Nox is going to try and find any squishies he can, but the Nano Boost goes on to Sinatra. Graviton Surge catches Winston and wins. Both end up dying in the process. Michael 3D eats a pulse bomb for probably the 10th time in this BO5, but it's going to be still a broken down fight. That Sinatra finds a kill on Unko and kills himself, and Selfless will hang on for 40% and climbing.
Okay, so he's used 2 Zarya ults in I think like about 2 minutes, and he's 30% of the way back to the next one. Sinatra really doing heavy lifting there. Losing to Fran early like that could have cost them, but instead they hang on to the point. So even should they lose an ensuing engagement, they'll have a chance to recap, which they may not have had that fight not gone their way. So Fran looking for that initial pickoff. Pulse bomb available. He gets the Zarya shield, goes in for the safe stick. He gets it too, brings down wins. Nice way to start the fight, and it might force a reset.
66%. Defran finding that late pulse bomb is going to give them probably 75 to 80, and Rogue, for the first time, are really having to bundle up their ultimates as much as they can to try and get this last final push in.
Here we go.
To try and flip it before 99%.
Nico about to unleash the Genji blade. Needs a good opening to go in, though. The Transcendence is the combo here. He hasn't whipped it out just yet, though, being patient. Iman also holding a self-destruct in the meanwhile, and now comes the Genji sword. What will he achieve with this Dragon Blade? Not a whole lot just yet. In fact, being dealt with, Sinatra continues to be a real problem for the enemy squad. Michael 3D closing in now on the Ana Boost. Won't get it off, though. He ends up dying just a bit too soon. Soon, finding the stick as well. Takes Sinatra down. Now Kresnik could be dealt with On the point, though, he's fairly durable, not easily killed off soon. Trying to find that frag. Will manage to track down to Hack, and they start to swarm onto the point, looking for the snowball effect here. And now with the Discord Orb firmly in play, Unko turns it around. They will recapture in overtime and still have a chance to 3-0 here in Lijiang and take the series 3-2.
Oh man, last chance here for Selfless for sure at this point, as they got 99% for themselves. If they can just get the one win here, they can extend their life on Lijiang Tower and in the winner's bracket finals. But Rogue looking to shut the door here, the last fight possibly here. AKM has the tactical visor ready to go. He is already up on the high ground. D.Va's aware of this. He flies up there, but now he's suddenly surrounded by 3 people. Tactical visor is going to be committed from the high ground. AKM still has half his health, even after that biotic grenade splashed in there, but Nox and soon finding kills on the supports means Selfless are going to be deflected again. Rogue just too strong here on Lijiang Tower, closing out in 99 to 99%, but a 3-0 scoreline on Lijiang Tower.
It's a Fran trying to stall. Iman jumping on the point. Selfless so close at 99 to 99. Sinatra would love to rush back, but they're so staggered. It seems nearly impossible. Michael 3D not going to be able to touch the point. Sinatra lobbing in a futile grab, but it only serves as fireworks as Rogue managed to barely close it out. Incredibly back and forth series. Really evenly matched teams, but Rogue again proving just that tiny sliver of a bit better. They will take it 3-2, so they get to go rest now. They come back fresh for the grand finals tomorrow. Selfless, maybe a short break, but then straight on, and they have to deal with Liquid.
Yeah, oh, there's some nice Primal Rage kills from Nox, and he, again, just got to sing his praises here as the Winston. It's not a forgiving role. Very often you jump in to engage the fight and just get blown up, but he is such a good Winston that he's able to contest over and over and over on a single life. Primal Rage timing always seems to be on point, and of course when you get environmental kills like that, it really just adds injury to insult if a gorilla's slapping you around. So Rogue, take it in the end, 3-0 on Lijiang Tower. It was still a closely fought match, but a 3-2 scoreline keeps their streak intact. Selfless again find themselves on the losing end of a 2-3 series, and they'll go to the losers bracket finals now. Team Liquid will be waiting for them here.
All right, will we get a Sombra? That's I think that's what I'm wondering. I don't know if you can get away with that against Selfless, but Liquid not afraid to throw those curveballs out with their new and revitalized roster. So guys, thank you for joining us. This has been our winner bracket finals here. Overwatch PIT North America. Now only 2 matches remain. Lower bracket today, and then on to the grand finals at 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. I'm LD. He's Joshy. You can follow us on Twitter at AskJoshy, at LDeep with 3 E's. And be sure to stay tuned. Overwatch PIT continues after this.